The director tried to warn us. If they control the transmitter, they may even be able to control the Pokémon. If we can't stop Team Rocket here, the run ends. But Johto won't forget. Johto is an unforgiving dungeon in this roguelike Pokémon Crystal playthrough. We narrowly escaped the lighthouse and avoided being scarred by a defeat. The radio tower might be scarier than I remember, and with routes becoming floors that can't be revisited for grinding or catching, if I'm not prepared, I'll be punished. Claiming badge number 7 would allow a visit to Nurse Joy, but losing to Price could result in one of 3 scars. Cold storage forces a Pokemon to be boxed after each badge win until Whitney is defeated next season. Bitter Cold prevents survival rolls until badge 2, which would make early Johto wins hollow and fruitless. Items are hard enough to come by, but Frostbite could mean permadeath for any fainted Pokemon until badge 7. The only revival allowed is by die roll, but this Magnemite is proving worthy. It's a heavy investment with an evolution level of 30, but if it survives, it can eat damage against trainers and offer field control. Its PowerPoint reserves aren't the most ideal for grinding on floor routes, but it's handy against the many water types encountered mid to late game. It's not bulky yet, but it survives. No items in battle means it's time to switch. Haunter is speedy and can deal flat damage, but lacks special defense and is soon to become the next box Pokemon. We literally just revived Shade after the last die roll for survival too. It's a shame to lose it so quick, but Johto claims another teammate. Choosing to fish up that Staryu, however, on Route Floor 40 turned out to be a good call as it handles Price's ace with ease, earning us a visit to the Pokémon Center and another post-gauntlet roll. We're going to learn Icy Wind and apply it to Staryu. Celebration quickly turns to tension upon returning to the radio tower. This gauntlet could leave its own nasty scars if we don't clear it. Evolution here is a big win because we're locked in at 5 now, since all route catches have been used up this side of Johto. Though the team was restored after winning against Price, the possible effects of Team Rocket's Sinister Broadcast loom over us now. With all these mandatory battles here, we can't afford a miss. PowerPoint Decay feels heavier when you only have one attack on a moveset. Although ethers can be found throughout Johto, they are few and far between, so sometimes I find myself having to use awkward pair-ups to deal damage and prevent KOs. Playing Crystal like a dungeon that scars the next save file punishes your patternistic play. You have to rewire and do things that don't always feel right. To level up is to tempt fate. How much grinding is too much grinding? We can't backtrack to grind, so we take risks. Even questions like who should lead this match make this Nuzlocke one that haunts a bad decision. As we climb higher, we deteriorate against Team Rocket's attrition. We don't have a lot of items, but we have a long way to go, even once we confront the admin up top. He's got a lot of explosive potential here, and I am gambling with Pidgeot. And let me tell you, not having Haunter right now to finesse Chains of Explosion hurts. The radio tower claims a soul, and it's a warning. Cluck offered stab damage and speed for a long time, but it's getting boxed outside the radio tower dungeon. We roll for survival here, but Nurse Joy can't be seen until badge 8, so we collect our rewards before exploring underground for the kidnapped director. Though we rolled for some potions, our rival could devastate our team. This Feraligatr could sweep, and a rival loss leaves a different kind of scar, a scar that can deepen later if a friendly bet is lost. The battle on hand, though, has me wondering who on the lineup can swing things in our favor. Are resistances enough if there's no bulk to back it? Magnemite plays utility here, but we need its advantage for Feraligatr later. Donphan can clean up and needs the XP bad, but just needs to survive here, because it's my only real attacker, just not against water types. Maybe we should have revived Weepinbell after rolling a revive post-Jasmine, but that choice has already been made. I forget Steel is neutral to water, and Bolts is quickly put in the red, but not before employing Thunderwave and Supersonic. And that means my only sane option here is Staryu, but it's gonna eat up some power points. Thunderwave gave us control, and the move Recover right now is giving us tempo control. And since we rolled for potions at Radio Tower 1, so long as no one faints, we still have a shot. With Feraligatr out of the way, I think Flame will clean up here, but if I'm not careful, we could lose an irreplaceable. Our Staryu lose is gonna have to step in and make sure that doesn't happen, but what would happen if things go wrong? Losing any rival match also leaves a scar. Fair Warning forces a choice. Dark Mirror forces parity. And Friendly Bet? That can hurt your pride. The rival forces us to face ourselves. In this Pokémon Crystal roguelike playthrough, every decision matters, even those deceptively small ones. Our victory is narrow, too narrow for my liking, but we are far from relief. This hidden base pits us against more mandatory battles, and we've been whittled down to 4 survivors. PowerPoint reserves are reaching critical ranges in this gauntlet. Even if we find the director here, do we have enough gas to climb the radio tower again? Johto already warned us once when we lost against Morty last season, but are we picking up what's being broadcast here? I mean, come on. Wandering ahead too soon or skipping too many optional trainer battles has consequences. Johto was telling us all along to be prepared. It requires gumption, resourcefulness. The Johto dungeon crawl punishes overconfidence. Just as soon as you start to get comfortable, Johto can remind you of how far off you are from relief. And since this is part of the Radio Tower story, a team wipe down here in the secret base still inflicts one of the 3 Radio Tower scars. We are never really safe. We scaled the Radio Tower once, but as you see, we are hanging on by a thread here. If we survive this gauntlet, we have some serious repairs at hand as the team diminishes. With limited resources, replacing a team member at this stage in the game is not as simple as it sounds. In fact, it could cause undue hardships. Every KO stings. We already rolled for survival when we reached the top of the radio tower the first time. This time, there is no such luck, and Team Rocket is much tougher on this side of the radio tower. I had more confidence the first trip through, but the Rocket admins ahead will give me a run for my money. And even if we don't make it out of the radio tower alive, the effects of losing here will linger. A reset does not equate to a clean slate. Scars are inevitable, and if they stack, the next run applies more pressure to reach a checkpoint. I am one bad choice away from being haunted into the next season. The threat of the radio tower poses a question as to how much interference one trainer can withstand. This team is just starting to build an identity, but we're learning that we can't simply flail about and expect benevolence here in Johto. In fact, maybe it's time to expect the opposite. Trunks faints in the home stretch. 3 survivors remain. On a wing and a prayer, we face off with the last few trainers here in the radio tower. The team is irreparable, and our survivors are fighting tooth and nail, down to the last power point. Perhaps we didn't level up enough before committing to a route with no backtracking permitted, or maybe our KO'd teammates have simply served their purposes. Only a victory against the last admin can answer that question, but I ain't gonna lie. It's not looking good right now. I'll do what I can to restore my team, but I'm out of potions at this point. Knowing when to use hidden items is just as important as knowing where to find them. The dungeon giveth and the dungeon taketh. An ether restores Staryu's surf count, because we'll need it against the fire types that this Rocket admin has on its lineup. We brought Staryu here for its special attack, not simply because it could help us traverse the high seas here in Johto. We may not be able to evolve it until it reaches Kanto, but unfortunately, it won't reach Kanto. Houndoom outspeeds, probably our fastest Pokemon, and leaves me in a sticky situation. Despite all efforts to reduce its accuracy, Crunch begins taking out my Pokemon one by one, until Bolts stands on its own. Paralyzed, outsped, and weak to fire, my last team member faints. The radio tower leaves its mark, and the Sinister Broadcast will follow me in Season 3. I Want Your Burger, signing off. Thanks so much.